Hey, what's up, boxing world? It's your boy bringing you the 4th episode of the 13th round with Freddylokz. Let's get right into it. This last weekend we had Johnny Gonzalez TKO Irene Pacheco in 9. A lot of people were talking about how the fight was kind of boring, and I mean the knockout was impressive, but how the fight was kind of boring and it wasn't what we're used to seeing from Johnny. But people forget that Johnny was always a boxer first. You know, he was always a boxer puncher, and he was never really a brawler until he got tagged a few times and had to brawl. Remember that he has good power, and I think that kind of led people into thinking he was an all-out brawler with this massive power, and he was gonna knock everybody out. But remember the Montiel fight, you know, he's a boxer before anything, remember that. But he did look impressive over a guy that was giving Darchinyan a lot of hell before his stoppage. So I would like to see what he does now in that division, and I'm kind of sad Marquez left, but I'm pretty sure we'll probably end up seeing both of them at maybe at 122 again in the near future. I sure hope that fight comes through, because that'll be a really good fight. We also had Julio back. He KO'd Thomas Davis in 7 rounds, and he had Whitaker in his corner now, and he seems to, I don't know if it was just me, but stick and move a bit more, and he doesn't hit and try to look at his work anymore. He used to just hit you and expect you to fall, and that's it. He kept the pressure. He looked pretty good, and I was pretty impressed with him. I hope to see him in the future again, because he's really good for TV. You know, there's already talks about him not being a future world champ, and you know, it's too early for that anyways. Let's work with what we're given now, and so far I like what I've seen, and I hope that they keep putting him on TV, because he's a good TV fighter, a really good one, action-packed, and he can crack. So let's hope the networks keep on picking him up so we can see more of him. And we have Diego Corrales versus Joshua Clottey this weekend, which it's gonna be interesting to see, because I don't think there's been a boxer that's moved up 2 divisions since, I believe it was Mosley, and we've seen the work Mosley did to a Hall of Famer. So let's see what Corrales could do to Clottey, because Clottey looked pretty impressive. Many people had him favored over Margarito based on his turtle defense and his straight, hard, crisp punches, and it was pretty sad to see that both of them messed up their hand, and I think it was a battle of heart and who wanted it more. And even though Margarito won that fight, I think the first 4 rounds were pretty rough on Margarito, and it's gonna be interesting to see how Diego handles that, you know, because remember, Diego was a boxer too before he became this massive puncher and knocking people's heads off. But we're gonna see how good Diego is in penetrating defense and really getting in on the inside against a guy that can really fight and bang, and who's a lot bigger than him. So we'll see how that goes. I think Clottey's gonna knock him out. You know, I really think so. I don't think Corrales' chin could hold up to those you know, solid, crisp punches. But we'll see what happens. Let's just hope it's a really good fight, and the fight fans love it. We also have Joe CALZAGHE versus Peter MANFREDO in Wales. Now this fight is people that don't know Manfredo are seeing it as just another tune-up, another, you know, slap here, slap there, and that's it. But I don't think Manfredo's that easy to. I'm not saying he's the world beater, but he's pretty tough and he's pretty rugged. Even though win or lose after this fight, I would like to see him at 154, because he's really built. I think good for the 154 division. He seems a bit flabby at times at 168, and you know, an extra 14 pounds. I mean, I don't think that's much. Maybe even middleweight. I think he can be dominant at 154 and be pretty good at middleweight too. So we'll see how that goes. I could see CALZAGHE taking a comfortable decision over Peter MANFREDO. But like I said, this is boxing. You never know. They both have 2 hands, and we'll see how that turns out. And I finally saw footage of Jorge Solis, who's Manny Pacquiao's next opponent, and he likes to step back and throw hooks. You know, he doesn't really jab a lot, but Manny comes forward. Manny comes forward all night, you know, and you do need to jab against Manny. But I mean, I'm curious to see how that's going to happen when Manny's rushing, and this guy's just stepping back, throwing hooks and hooks and hooks. I still think Manny will probably take a decision or a late TKO over him. Based on what I've seen, I can't really call it because I haven't seen much. But it's going to be pretty interesting to see. because Jorge Solis is a tall featherweight, and it's going to be pretty interesting to see if Paco could get in on him without taking those big shots from Jorge Solis. We also have Edison Miranda versus Cali Pavlik, which this is a fight fans fight. I mean, they're gonna bang the crap out of each other, and we all know it. And I can't even really call it right now because they both been dropped, and they both can crack really hard. And they both seem to be pretty big for the middleweight division. And I really can't wait for that fight. It finally got finalized, and it's gonna be set for May 19th. So more interesting news is the GAB banned all Filipino fighters from fighting in Thailand, and this was due to Lito Cisnorio's death this past week. And to me, I mean, I think that's more the matchmaker's fault than anybody, because we all know that the rivalry between the Philippines and Thailand, and that's really how they eat. I mean, that's how they make their money, and that's where the big money's at. And I kind of wish they would have took more time to make that decision, because they just did it out of the blue. And you know, my heart goes out to Cisnorio's family and all, but I don't think that should have happened, because like I said, it's taking bread and butter away from their families, because that's the biggest rivalry over there. So we'll see, and I'll keep you guys informed on what's to come with that. And the WBA is also set to strip Juan Diaz if he chooses to go on with his Acelino Freitas fight, which we all know nowadays that bouts don't mean nothing. Strip them, do whatever you want, as long as the fight fans get what they want. And I think this fight's gonna be a barn burner. I mean, you got Freitas, who can crack from the outside, who's pretty awkward, who's really fast, but you got the baby bull Juan Diaz, who stays in your chest all night, non-stop pressure. He can't really hit that hard, but he never stops throwing, which sometimes is a lot better, because his activity really overcomes his power. So we'll see how that goes. I like Juan Diaz with the decision on that one, but I know it's going to be an action-packed fight all night, so let's hope for that. And Saquon denied the Juan Guzman versus Michael Cassidy's fight, and I'm kind of glad this happened, because it would have happened at lightweight, and I still think Juan Guzman, he barely moved up to featherweight. I still think he has a lot to prove in that division. I mean, we have Humberto Soto, we have Pacquiao, we have Barrera, who's kind of semi-retiring but not yet. We have who else do we have there? We have Rocky Juarez. I mean, it's just too packed right now to just leave. I mean, and he's a really good guy who can give a lot of guys problems. So let's hope he can stay there and make some noise, because 135, I mean, not yet. I don't think, but not yet. Let's get into some questions here. Ruben from South Central is asking me, is it me, or did Sweet Pea add a little stick and move to Julio's game? What fighter does Julio remind you of at this stage of his career, and how would Julio versus Baldomir fight turn out? I said it earlier, he did add a little stick and move to his game, and he's not really hitting you and just staying there and waiting for you to fall. He's actually keeping the pressure going. That's really good. And he reminds me at this stage, I'm not going to go back too far, a couple of years, maybe about 3 years. He reminds me of Kermit Cintron. Kermit would crack you and just wait for you to fall. And he really didn't know anything else. And after the Margarito fight, I think he's learned a lot. And he really reminds me of Kermit Cintron at this stage of his career. We'll see how that goes out. As far as the Baldomir fight, I think it'll be pretty good. You know, Baldomir, he can't hit that hard, but he's a good pressure fighter, and I think that'll help Julio build his confidence a bit to learn how to box more and not just be hitting, because I doubt he can take Baldomir out. So that'll be a good fight to look out for. Magic Trey asked me, what are your thoughts on the Fernando Vargas versus Mayorga fight, and who do you think would win? My thoughts are, let's make it happen. Two big names, but the only problem is Mayorga wants 147, and Vargas don't want anything under 160. What I think would happen if they fight at 160, I think Vargas has the power and the smarts to take him out, maybe in the later rounds, you know. But we'll see how that turns out. And now I want to thank Eastside Boxing for supporting me. www.glovesup.com, and everybody else who's been supporting me. Remember to leave your comments and questions on the bottom of the screen in the comment section. I'll answer them, but make sure you leave them down on the comment section. And with that, the 4th episode is done. Your boy Freddylokz is out. Peace.